Ay, 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 ay. What a morning. What a week.
Okay.
Start off the week with Ava getting tubes.
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 She got tubes.
She got the tubes.
I'm just surprised we are doing this show. There are people working on the house right now. You might hear the noises.
Sounds like the house is coming down.
It just sounds like someone has like a hammer drill up there and they're just drilling holes in the foundation. So yeah, we're getting windows replaced upstairs.
They're pretty much falling out.
We had a couple that were shaped like potato chips, and they're like older, I guess, vinyl windows that just did not fare well. So we're getting 3 of them replaced upstairs. And while they're here, I figured, hey, why not? I need a little bit more ventilation in the shop. So my window on this side is actually none of the windows are operable in here. So we went with a sliding window that's gonna allow me to get cross ventilation, and I'm gonna have the fan over on the other bay, the only bay that's staying open, and this way I'll be able to get fresh air.
That'd be nice.
Which is great, because at this point when I try to get fresh air, the only thing I could do is open the laundry room door, and I'm pulling in air from inside the house, and it's like...
I'm like, ooh, it stinks like finish.
The finish like really permeates into the house, so this is gonna, for ventilation, this is gonna help big time, so I'm super excited about it. But it's one of the reasons why we weren't sure if we could do the show today is because it's in the garage. So thankfully, the way they're working, they're starting in the house, and then we're just gonna do a quick show and get out of their way so they can come in here.
Quick show. But before we get into the show, we should probably say hi to everybody and anybody new that's watching.
Happy Friday!
There might be new people watching us.
Maybe.
So. Couple of announcements. So hi, I'm Nicole.
Oh yeah, we'll make it formal.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Happy Friday, everybody. This is Friday Live featuring Marc Spagnolo and Nicole Spagnolo. I'm not supposed to speak for her. She doesn't like that. Did I just trigger Siri on her phone? I don't know how I did that. But anyway, yeah, this is Friday Live, where we talk about some stuff and things and drink coffee. Yeah,
and we got a nice package, or I did, from John Williams. So John wrote us and says, Marc and Nicole, keep up the good work, learning lots and renewing my interest in woodworking. Nicole, after talking with Marc about quilting, you seem to have an interest in it. I work at a fabric store in Fairbanks, Alaska, where I'm the sewing machine repair tech and cut fabric on a laser cutter.
Wow.
Lasers.
Laser. A freaking laser cutter.
A freaking laser cutter. So
You just did that thing with your throat that I always do.
You always do it. What was that?
I don't know, but it's funny to hear you do it.
So when Marc did the video on the dining chairs, I got a good look at your table and immediately thought of our mini bear table runner kit that our owners designed. The ladies I work with says it's a great starter project. Hope you enjoy the stickers. The stickers are amazing. I don't know if you can see them. One says, "May the North be with you." I'm gonna totally put that on our car.
I love that. That is
and
great.
then this one is Bat Moose. So thank you so much, John, for that. I love it. And you know what? I can't wait to do this. But in order to do this, you know what I need that I no longer have?
A sewing machine?
No, I don't need a sewing machine. I don't think I do. There's, I believe it's supplies required. Oh yeah, maybe I do need a sewing machine.
Okay.
I thought I need a iron, and you stole it. I need it.
You can have it back. It's all yours.
No, see, fuse with any iron to any project.
Okay, that's great.
Anyway,
let's move on.
Oh no, it's the bear. I'm sorry. Hey, we're talking about quilting.
It's very important stuff.
This can be
sure everyone
my
tunes
part.
in to hear about quilting.
I'm excited.
No, I'm glad you're excited. Okay, so here's the thing. We, because of the timing this morning, we were able to put the Patreon post up, but I haven't even looked at any of the questions. So Nicole's going to grab what she can, either from Patreon or the live chat, I'm guessing.
I'm looking at both right now.
Okay, so she's going to grab questions from me the whole time. We'll do what we can. We do want to mention today that if anyone is inclined to do the super chat donation, which is YouTube's sort of upgraded thing, say, hey, look at me, I asked a question, and it sends a few bucks our way. We asked that instead of sending that money to us, to send it to the Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund.
Yes.
Nicole has a United Way link.
100% of your donation goes to this United Way, and they're directly impacting the citizens. So there's one in Dallas, so unitedwaydallas.org /Harvey Relief, and there's another one in Houston, so unitedwayhouston.org /flood donation. I think if you just Google United Way Harvey Relief, because they have special pages created. And again, 100% of your donation. I think when these disasters kind of happen, it's really hard to know who to donate to.
It's very tricky. There's so many like opportunistic things going on that are not cool, but some of the, you know.
There's already organizations in place.
Yeah.
Help these organizations out. And in fact, I meant to tell you, since we're both well, I think we should go give blood again.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so maybe after this.
I will bleed for the cause.
Yes. Go give blood if you can.
That sounds good. So yeah, please, instead of sending it our way, do that. That's where the funds are needed at this point.
I'll put the links in the YouTube chat, just so you guys have them. And I probably should sign in order to put that in.
You might want to do that.
I'm not,
okay,
I'm a little off today.
Before you do that, why don't you give me a question so that I can talk while you're doing that.
All right, so we have a couple of questions. We have Peter Swick. This might be a dumb question.
Probably.
How often do you sharpen your hand planes? I do smaller projects at home and I'm always reluctant to pull out my hand planes and fearing needing to continuously sharpen them, which is another skill I need to master. On a related note, what are the best resources for learning to properly sharpen hand planes without totally screwing them up? Okay,
well, first of all, there's tons of resources out there anymore. You know, I know I've got videos on sharpening. I believe Cremona has some videos. Certainly, my buddy Shannon at Renaissance Woodworker has some videos. Then you've got folks like Ron Hawk, who has a blog and an entire book dedicated to sharpening and the proper techniques. There's probably some Charlesworth videos out there showing some techniques with sharpening. There's no shortage of good videos showing, you know, reliable, time-tested techniques. All right, so just dig around and you should be able to find those. Now, how often it takes me or how often I have to sharpen my planes is completely irrelevant to how often you're going to sharpen your planes. It depends on what woods you're using, how often you use them, most importantly, your technique, how aggressive you are, and then of course the quality of the steel. So unless we're, you know, doing the exact same materials and we're using the exact same planes and working the exact same rate, it's not going to be a relevant number that you could do something with. All I can tell you is that I don't sharpen that often, but I also don't use my hand planes a ton. I'm not a primary hand tool user. So let's say a good example, I'll cut some tapers on table legs and I will cut them at the bandsaw and then I'll bring them back to the workbench and take either my smoother or my jack plane and I will smooth that surface. And I'll do a total of 4 legs. Each one has 2 tapers and then that project's done. Will that dull my blade enough that it needs to be resharpened? Definitely not. So I will probably do 4 or 5 of those sort of size projects before I even think about doing anything with the plane. So my advice is absolutely just start using it because you'll never know what your rate of resharpening has to be until you start doing stuff with it, right? And don't be afraid. Steel doesn't just like, you know, that's why I always laugh when people talk about putting your plane you know, down on the workbench like this and the blade making contact. Blades just don't suddenly magically become dull. You know what I mean? You've got to actually work that surface down and work that edge enough that it does dull it and it needs rehoning. Also, when you look into a sharpening system, keep in mind with sharpening, early and often is really the best way to go. If you wait too long, you have a lot more work to do. But if you do something like just get a little stropping thing, like the horse butt thing that my buddy Shannon recommended I get, and I really like it, you can sharpen before every project and it becomes like 5 or 6 swipes and you're done, right? So you're just honing it. And that way you never really let it get to the point that you even have to go back to the stones. So it's definitely something you want to think about, the routine sharpening that will make your life easier.
I know where he's coming from because I kind of feel that about the lathe having to sharpen.
You don't want to dull the tools.
I'm like,
the lathe is another good example of something you have to have a quick, easy way to sharpen because the sharper your tools are, the better the experience is.
Right.
So you don't want to spend all day sharpening. Get something quick, you know, bench grinder with a nice stone in there, done. You have a jet bench grinder, right? No. What do you have? Delta. I thought we had Delta. It's an older Delta variable speed grinder. So Jesse. If you want to call Jet and tell them to send us a Jet one, that's fine. I'd be okay with that. All right. You know, guess what I'm getting? A scroll saw. Oh my god. I have a really cool project that I want to do for the holidays. Holiday stuff, yeah. So you're gonna have another video from me out soon. Oh boy. Everybody's excited, Nicole.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. It's just another video on the website.
Yeah.
I like it.
So Jesse Hansen wants to know, hey Mark, a few shows back you discussed your blade sharpening what's with all this sharpening?
What the
Frequency, and the key to prolonging edges is to keep them clean. How often will you guesstimate you clean your blades? I seem to get pitch buildup fairly quickly on my Freud blades, and I feel like...
Oh, he's talking about like
table saw
power blades.
Yeah. Because usually you put it in like a solution, right?
I do.
Oak, walnut, maple are primary woods, in which case they may play a role. Do I use blade coat?
Okay.
Is that what it's called?
Yes. So basically, you always want to lubricate the blade. Lubrication allows the blade to cut better. It also helps prevent buildup of pitch and resin and things like that. How often do I do the cleaning? As often as I need to. Again, same question that I answered with the hand planes. The frequency depends on usage and what you're doing with it. Basically, if I start to notice tear out, or usually it's having to push a little bit harder than I'm used to. This is just a factor of experience. I know I've cut white oak 8/4 enough times with this blade that it should be going smoother than this, and a little bit, I shouldn't have to push as hard. In that case, I take a look at the blade. If I see that little bit of buildup on each tooth, then it's time for a cleaning. So I think honestly, if you want to inspect the blade, anytime you see that buildup, probably time to do a cleaning, and that's going to prevent overheating and things that could lead to it dulling faster. So yeah, it's a pain in the butt to pull that blade out and do a cleaning process, but I think it does help the longevity of the blade and the sharpening that has been done to it.
You know what I think we should do?
Take our clothes off.
Jen Big is in the chat room. Hi, Jen. She says, happy Friday.
What's up, Jen?
My car was totaled in an accident and my TWW sticker along with it. How can I acquire a new one?
I think it's funny.
Yeah.
It's not funny that her car was totaled.
No.
But that she's concerned about the sticker that was on the car.
I'll get you a sticker, Jen. Don't worry.
It might just be the least expensive thing that you're going to have to replace in this scenario.
She donated her super chat. I put the links in the chat room. She donated.
Excellent.
I think
Thanks,
if we
Jen.
we're going to do this on the honor system. So if we answer your question, those two links, or pick a charity, $1. Just at least $1. Donate $1. How about that?
What are you saying? What?
I'm saying if we answer a chat, or if we answer one of these questions,
we're donating $1?
Well, we can do that too. Yeah.
This is confusing.
Yeah, we can do that too.
But I don't understand what you're saying.
We're donating.
No, before that.
I'm asking them to donate too.
Okay.
On the honor system.
You're saying if we answer your question, you owe the United Way $1.
Yes, at least $1.
This is a great system, Nicole.
Hey,
I like how Nicole unilaterally decided that you would be donating to this much.
If you ask a question,
cause. Well done.
It's on you.
Okay, all right. Now I'm with you. Not that we're going to donate $1.
I can check it.
You donate $1.
Well, we're donating $1 too.
And if you tell us that you donated and then you put your question, again, the honor system, please only if you actually donated, then we'll try and treat that like a super chat.
Yeah. So.
Anything else you want them to do?
I think for every question we answer today, we'll donate $1, match the $1 that they donate.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Or,
We're just going to donate anyway, so.
I know.
Next question.
I'm trying to make it fun.
Oh, this is a blast. All right, let's go.
Eric Liu wants to know, if I'm going to use a water-based finish, is it okay to use Titebond Original, or should I use Titebond 2 or 3? 2.
It doesn't really matter. What you put as a finish coat on top of something that has glue in its joints, even if you're looking at a tabletop where it's a layup and you actually do have access to those joints, while Titebond 1 is not necessarily considered water resistant or waterproof, it is not going to dissolve in water, right? I think it's long-term exposure to water and moisture that makes that bond sort of weaken over time. So if you are putting a water-based finish, that water is going to absorb into the top layer. It's going to dry for the most part within an hour. There's not enough exposure for it to impact the joints at all. So I would not pick my glue based on my finish. I don't think you have anything to worry about there.
I forgot to mention this at the top of the show. Marc, over the years, has used a lot of products, and we scattered them. I
like me some products, girl.
And tools. I
love me some tools.
So Amazon came out with it's called the Influencer Program, but it's just basically a place where we can aggregate all of the products you like to use.
That's marketing speak for people like me.
Yeah.
Influencer.
So if you go to amazon.com/shop, /The Wood Whisperer. You'll see Marc's 3M mask. You'll see
stuff you've probably heard me talk about many times.
And it's just in a place. Nice. It's just one scrolling page.
Oh, you put the GoPro in there too. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I actually went through your Amazon purchase.
Nice. Digging through my drawers over here.
I just added a whole bunch of stuff that I know you use because I had to fill this out.
Did you put my butt rash cream on there as well?
No, I didn't do that.
Okay.
I did put
it really does help me ditch that itch.
The monkey hooks that we use in the house.
Nice. That's cool. I like it. It's the replacement for their old A-Store feature,
that's going to be decommissioned.
Decommissioned, discontinued.
October, I think.
And this is cool. I mean, it really is. I'm just looking as you scanned it. It's pretty much all of the stuff that I tend to reference all the time, little handy products and stuff.
And if you'll see at the very top that it's an affiliate kind of thing, so we do get a commission for that. But I didn't know where I'll be able to put notes on each one of those.
Ooh.
So I can actually say why you're
commentary.
why you use this or whatever. So anyway.
All right.
We got a question from Andrew St.
Pierre.
I don't know. I made your name fancier. In your opinion, what would be a good project in the guild for someone who is new? I personally bought the 2-sheet bookshelf. Yeah. Is there another one that you would recommend?
I think the shaker table is probably one that I recommend.
We always go back to the shaker table. But here's the thing.
The shaker table really encompasses a lot of basic fundamental woodworking techniques.
It does, but I will tell you this. In the Facebook group, the Guild Facebook group, I've had people post their first project ever, and it's a roubo.
Well, we just had someone posted a question. What was your first guild project? Yeah. And there was a guy in there who said the roubo. First
ever, not just guild project. It was that was his first woodworking project.
Look, there are some people, and I reference Vic, our buddy Vic Hubbard, all the time, who have an aptitude, and they sort of watch the woodworking be done, they pay attention, and they learn as they're watching. They're visual learners, and then they go into the shop and they can just make it happen. Vic, one of his first projects, if not his first project, ended up in the Fine Woodworking Gallery in their magazine. That's huge.
You haven't even done that.
I submit stuff to Fine Woodworking and they go, keep trying, kid. Right? And then Vic, who his first project, he's like, boom, there you go. So some people are just good. They just have a natural, innate ability to get in there and get the stuff to happen. Definitely, yeah. Some people just have a natural skill. Other people have to learn the skill and practice and build the skill. So the thing with the guild is all of those projects are there to help you build those skills. So even if it's a very complex project, it will walk you through the steps. And even if you don't attempt the project yet, seeing it happen locks those techniques and those tools in your brain, and then you'll know in the future how to use them and where you could use them. And if you want to build that project, you have everything you need to do it. So while the bookshelf and the shaker table are good projects, don't limit yourself. I say look for a project that looks like something you want to build and see if you could tackle it. A lot of people do take on fairly complex projects as their first project. It can be daunting, but it is doable.
And especially if you're in the guild, you got this knucklehead to help you.
Yeah, this guy over here.
Knucklehead. So I just want to let people know, his name's Marc, not Matt.
I told Matt that this is going to happen. I warned Matt. There was this phenomenon when I first started online, and I made it clear that I was in some way associated with David Marks. And it was weird because David's last name is Marks, my first name is Marc. I would get a lot of people calling me David, and something switched in their brain, and they knew we were associated with one. So it was really weird, but I got used to it, and I'm like, oh, thanks. I think you're thinking of David Marks. My name is Marc Spagnolo. So then when Matt and I started to work together more, and we brought him into the guild and stuff like that, I warned him. I said, I don't know why this happens, but I can guarantee you we will start to see more and more people will refer to you as Marc and to me as Matt. And it has happened probably 6 or 7 times already.
It's happened a lot and I don't even tell you.
And I think part of it is, again, that both have, both are M names, both are 4 letters.
You look a little alike.
We look a little alike.
Yeah.
I'm obviously much better looking, much taller, and
how much?
Actually, when I stand next to Matt, it does make me feel tall. Yeah. But I'm pretty much average height for the most part. I just think people, I don't know what it is, but it's something we're going to have to get used to.
All right, so we have another question from Grayson Dillon. Hi, Marc. After a few new tool purchases, my wife agreed to let me take over her parking space.
Nice.
I'm starting a major shop reorganization. I have a Powermatic 1.75 horsepower dust collector with the filter bag, and I've just used flex hose and moved to each tool as needed. I want to upgrade to a more permanent system. Is the collection powerful enough for a full duct system? If so, would switching the line into the collector to
6 inches
be the way to go? The longest run I wouldn't be longer than about 18 feet.
I don't know. A lot of this comes down to airflow calculations, and I'm not even going to pretend to tell you whether or not this thing has the beef to do that. And if you increase the port size on it to 6 inches, there are like other effects to doing things like that that may not be good. Maybe a 6-inch port on there does something to the fan and the motor that you don't want it to do in terms of how much it stresses it because of the freer intake of air. So I don't really know for sure. These are things that people, or very smart people, are paid to calculate. What I would recommend is, since you're moving toward a ducted solution, the easiest thing to do is design the ductwork, put it in. Because even if it doesn't work that well, the ductwork can still work when you upgrade to a more powerful system. And you don't have to change anything with the ductwork. So I say connect the ductwork, give it a shot, see how it performs. If it doesn't perform up to your standard, and of course include blast gates, things like that to just stack the cards in your favor. But if it doesn't perform, then you just go back to the flex hose until the budget is there to replace the dust collector.
Alrighty, from Joe Lipinski. Out of curiosity, I dragged myself into reading online forum discussions regarding rip cut quality off the table saw.
Oh, don't do that. Don't go to forums.
Yeah, that was a mistake. After reading numerous claims of finished ready cuts off the table saw, I decided I better ask Marc. What say you? I just uploaded this video. We did a video on that. You did a video on this.
Did I?
I just uploaded it to Amazon.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you did. What say you? Is it perfectly scratch-free surface possible off a properly tuned saw? My saw is tuned, so I don't have a burning or binding. It doesn't bog down, and occasionally I have a few blade scuff marks, but nothing that would affect the glue joint or be hard to sand out. Do you see a difference between wood species such as cherry versus maple?
I think we need to lower our expectations sometimes when it comes to things like perfect cuts off the table saw. I am almost always doing something else to that edge after the table saw. So if I'm doing a big tabletop, I may hit that edge with a hand plane. I may give it a very light pass over the jointer prior to gluing it up. If it's something...
Cutting thin strips at the table saw.
That's not the...
Oh, that's not the same thing?
I mean, it's the same operation,
yeah,
but it's not addressing directly his question.
Gotcha.
So I've got really high quality blades. I have lights blades in there from the folks at Very Super Cool Tools. I had forest blades. I had Tenru blades. Yes?
I'm Very Super Cool Tools giveaway this month.
You want to announce it?
Hey, we're giving away some stuff from Very Super Cool. I haven't gotten it live yet.
Yeah, it's not formalized.
Because I have to finish the
we'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah. Affinity Tools ended yesterday.
So I've used some pretty good premium quality blades, and some are better than others. Some wood species are better there than others, but I don't expect that blade to be glue, or that cut to be just glue ready. Now sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But if I'm not looking for it and I know I have to do something else to the surface afterwards, then it's just a non-issue for me. I think the problem is if you, with a particular species and a particular blade, if you can actually get a truly glue-ready cut that is pretty much perfect, it's not an easy thing to maintain. So even if you get it to work for a little while, it's going to go off. And then you're going to sit there going nuts, cleaning your blade, checking your alignment, just to get a perfect cut off of the table saw. That doesn't make much sense to me. Have something in your back pocket that you just routinely do to clean up edges, and then the table saw can just do what it does. Try to get the cleanest cut possible. Do what it do. Try to get the cleanest cut possible, but don't bust your cojones over just trying to get absolute perfection. That's not really the tool for that, necessarily.
I just want to mention, last week someone corrected my grammar, our grammar, and I just said species.
Species.
And I looked it up. It is pronounced both ways.
Yeah, species and species.
Yes. So.
And there's nothing worse than being corrected on grammar, spelling, any of those annoying things, and the person is wrong. It's like a built-in kick to the nuts for the person. So enjoy that. Thanks for the correction, but you were wrong.
So there's a really good show called Adam Ruins Everything, and he did an episode on education where he looks at grammar, and it's a really funny episode, and how grammar changes, and there's general rules, but it's very fluid. So watch Adam's Ruins Everything.
And let's just put this out there.
Yeah.
If you're watching this now and you happen to, no offense, but if you happen to be a person who, out of nowhere, especially in an online environment, and you correct someone's grammar or spelling, just understand nobody likes you. No one likes you, okay? So, just so you know.
It's not helpful.
No one likes you. It's like running into a room, farting, and leaving. Is anyone really going to appreciate that? Nope. Everyone's going to be like, that guy's a jerk.
All right, Jeremy Paston. Maybe you addressed this in a guild video for the project, but for the split top roubo, are you concerned with movement at all? Specifically, I'm wondering about the expansion of the two top sections versus the stringer that goes underneath them, and is effectively cross grain. I'm assuming the legs are mortised into the bottom of the top, which would force all the expansion toward the center. Have you noticed that the gap for the centerpiece changes significantly seasonally?
No.
Any worries about the pinching the center insert?
You always give this center insert, there's a little gap stop that goes in a split. You give it a little bit of room to breathe so that if there is any movement there, it's not going to get stuck. Ultimately, with workbenches, well-designed workbenches include allowances for wood movement, and this is no exception. So you're not going to have any wood movement problems at all. My gap stop is always a little bit loose. You don't need a snug fit for what this thing is supposed to do. So even if you had like an 1/8 inch gap there, that's fine. And if it expands and contracts, it doesn't hurt anything. So as far as this design is concerned, there really are no major wood movement issues. And keep in mind with the top, if you build it from a laminated series of boards, what you're doing is turning flat sawn boards on the side. So in the end, the top is more like a quarter sawn slab that's been glued up, and quarter sawn material doesn't have as much tendency to move across the grain that way. So that's why we turn the boards that way, to get that grain orientation, which works in our favor, minimizes movement.
Where'd it go? William Patrick Customs wanted to know, do you ever work with no-name builders? We don't even work with the named. I'm guessing YouTubers.
Yeah, I worked with Cremona just recently. Right? Doesn't that
Would you ever partner with a no-name builder and create a project with them?
I'm going to say no, and it has nothing to do with them being a no-name builder. It has everything to do with I don't really have the opportunity or time to partner with people very much. I'm lucky to get all the stupid ideas that are in my head out and into a video form, let alone trying to sort of get a collaboration going.
Well, I've been talking with the food lab guy, Kenja, and he would love to collaborate with you. And I would love.
I just made salmon, and it turns out, right? Yeah. It turns out that video that I told you about, he didn't make the video, but it was. Serious Eats using his technique for how to fry a nice, gorgeous, delicious,
it was very delicious
fillet of salmon, and it was fantastic.
He's a new woodworker, but that's a great example of I love the stuff that he's building.
So yeah, I mean, there's always opportunities there. It's a question of, do I have time to execute those things?
Right.
And honestly, I'm surprised the Cremona thing even happened, right?
Too.
I mean, but Cremona, we're getting him more involved in the guild, so we had a very focused goal that was mutually beneficial to both of us. And then we both built projects for our free sites while we were together, just because we were in the same place at the same time. So yeah, it's not a sort of discriminating against no-named YouTubers, because I don't even take opportunities that I could have with YouTubers who might be able to give me traffic.
Well, and here's the thing. Like in business, it's about relationships. You build and invest in relationships. So, and that's kind of how ideas form and come about.
I wish we had more time. We're team players like anybody else, but we also have 2 kids and just way too much on our plates as it is.
Jacob wanted to know, which router do you prefer, the Bosch or the Festool? Love your show.
Oh, geez. The Festool.
Yeah.
I mean, I use the Bosch because it's capable, it works. and it does the job. But if you're comparing like the Festool OF 1400 to that Bosch plunge router, it's no comparison. The Festool is a fantastic router. It's smooth as silk, so easy and consistent to plunge. The edge guide is top notch, and you get true micro adjustment with no slack and slop in the adjustment. The edge guide on the Bosch is just, it's a little better than garbage. But I don't love it. But again, I use it all the time because I want people to understand that these are creature comforts that I'm talking about here. So while I like that, you know, I would love to drive a Lamborghini, which Matteo, by the way, said that we're going to get a Lamborghini.
Oh, no, we're not.
While I love to drive a Lamborghini because it would make me look awesome, I have to settle for driving a Honda Odyssey because we need to get our kids to school.
I will say I do not like that vehicle.
That vehicle's a pain in the butt.
Oh, yeah.
It's got so many safety features that it's like I don't even understand what you're saving me from.
Like, all of it, I would be driving and it goes, brake, brake, brake. I'm like, there's nothing in front of me.
100 yards in front of you, a car's making a right-hand turn and it's like, whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so anyway, point being, it's a capable router. But if you're actually going to ask me which one is better, hands down, the Festool is a better tool.
Let's see. We got a question from Chet.
Chat.
Okay. I'm sorry, Chet. I'm thinking of weird science right now.
No shit, Chet. No shit. All right.
I'm making a media cabinet.
Going blah, blah, blah. His lips. Didn't that guy pass away?
He did. Bill Paxton.
Yeah, Bill Paxton.
I
All right.
him.
Go on.
I'm making a media cabinet, and I am using a mortise and tenon joint for the leg and the top and bottom rails. And I was thinking I'd like to try to draw bore with it. Is that right?
Drawbore.
Drawbore. Is it necessary for the peg to go all the way through the joint? The reason I asked is I would prefer to glue the leg to the side panels first, but this would block the hole for the peg on the backside of the leg.
I don't think it's absolutely necessary. I've done it before without punching all the way through. You just have to consider that it's not going to be as strong. Now, for what you're building, I don't really think those pegs are going to make a whole lot of difference. If you have a good fitting mortise and tenon joint, you glue it together, unless you are like table surfing on top of this thing and doing some of this action and really trying to rack the heck out of it, I don't think you're ever going to do anything to that that's going to stress those pegs in any way that matters. So in this particular instance, I don't think you need to extract every last bit of strength possible out of that joint. So the way I look at it is if the peg goes into the tenon, you're at least getting the effect that you're after. It should pull the joint closed a little bit, and if there were failure, it should help prevent it from completely falling apart. Obviously, that gets stronger if you go all the way through and to the other side of the mortise so that you actually have more strength to the joint. But again, in this situation, I don't think it really matters. Let's take like one more because we're actually, we should probably get our butts in there.
Okay. Let me ask two more. Novocaine wants to know, is it better to buy your book from Amazon or the Wood Whisperer store?
It is always better for any book you purchase, if you have the ability to buy it directly from the author, do that.
Yep.
That, in most cases, if not all cases, is going to benefit the author better than buying it from Amazon.
And you'll probably get a signed copy too.
You might, I know for us.
Yeah, you get them for us.
I've signed every copy we have ever sold.
You won't get a signed copy from Amazon.
And you will not get a signed copy from Amazon. We also have a bonus video that you get if you buy from us, which you don't get on Amazon.
Yep.
So Amazon's fine, and especially if you want like a Kindle version or something, you don't have much choice. But buy from the author.
Speaking of Amazon, season 10 of The Wood Whisperer, which is all the videos that came out in 2016, you can now watch on Amazon Prime.
It's pretty cool.
It's so cool. I love it.
It's just different to see it in that format.
I knew you were kind of skeptical of it, and then
my only skepticism was how long and how much time it was going to take you to get this thing done, because every day she's in there working on it, trying to get everything like formatted properly, and I'm just like, I don't know if it's worth her time to do that. So that still remains to be seen. We'll see. But it's the cool factor is there.
I love it.
To be able to go,
it's easy.
Woodworking. And then we show up next to that DIY chick.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, season 10, season 11, both there. I'm getting season 9 is being published right now.
I imagine it's going to get harder and harder to publish the seasons the further back you go.
Yes.
As the format changes, the quality goes down.
Yeah.
There might be more like ads or text overlay of links.
Because initially, a number of months ago, I tried doing it, and I was going to start with season 1, and then it was like wall of errors.
Season 1 is problematic.
I'm going to have to spend a lot of time in
Season 1 is like pre-HD. You couldn't even upload HD for the first couple years of the Wood Whisperer. I love when people go back to older stuff.
Oh, it's so
They're
pixelated.
Like, what's with all the pixels? And it's like, welcome to 2006, my friend.
William Patrick Customs again.
Is this the last question?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the best HVLP system to only buy one time for furniture?
Well, that's kind of a tough question, because if are you talking about turbines? Are you talking about just buying a good conversion gun because you have a nice size compressor? It's hard to tell you, they're two very different formats, and there are conversion guns and pressure pot systems and things that are out there that I don't even know anything about. I've used them before when I worked in a refinishing shop, but I've never had them. It wasn't until a couple years ago that I actually had a compressor that would effectively drive an HVLP system. So I've been on the turbine train for a long time, because turbines are self-contained. You buy one thing that has your air pressure as well as your gun all in one. So I use Fuji turbines primarily. Apollo is another brand. What is it? Campbell Household? I don't know how you pronounce it. Campbell something. There's a number of good turbine brands, but we really love Fuji, and their products are fantastic.
You have a whole HVLP video. If you haven't seen it already, go on the Wood Whisperer and search HVLP. Marc breaks down all of the systems.
And you've got Erlex if you want something that's a little more budget friendly and on the lower end. You've also got Rockler, and they've actually got their own HVLP turbine. So telling you what is the best, I don't know, that would be unfair and honestly kind of dishonest of me to say that there is a best, because I haven't used them all. What I can tell you is I'm very fond of the Fuji line of products.
Taylor's Wood wants to know, will you sign the book with a crude drawing if we buy at that level of Patreon?
If you can get a message to us before we package it.
The whole thing with Patreon is it's personalized, and it comes from, because I manage all the Patreon stuff. Right,
but what I'm saying is if they can somehow get us a message that says, I want something crude, I have done that.
Yes.
I've done that multiple times for people. I've defaced my own book with like wieners and stuff for the sake of a joke.
In fact, I think it is Kara's husband that we sent that picture to.
Right. So yes, we'll do that. I have no shame. And
then I have a question. Thomas wants to know what's my favorite Fallout game. And then also Matthew Hall said, did I use the tablet as a Pip-Boy while playing Fallout 4? No, I didn't. I just played it.
You can do that?
I guess.
Seriously? So you can have access to your Pip-Boy while you're playing without going into the menu?
Yeah, I guess so. I've never tried it.
And is that on PC and PS4?
You're asking me questions.
I'm intrigued now. I want to go back and play it. Anyway, so, no one else cares about that.
My favorite Fallout, New Vegas.
You like New Vegas a lot.
New Vegas was awesome. Yeah. I do. I mean, I loved 4. And I loved 3.
You like those Elvis guys.
I did.
New Vegas. Okay, so let's wrap this stuff up. Vegas. So remember, we do want to mention the whole Hurricane Harvey thing. If you can... if you were thinking about sending any money our way this week, instead send it to United Way.
I'll tally up all the questions. You know what? It doesn't even matter. So we're donating.
And obviously, this is a time where we need to direct funds where they are needed.
Oh, Terry Grimes. See the question from Terry Grimes.
Terry Grimes. I just saw a thank you from Terry.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, we can try to hit him up later.
Yeah. Oh, donated. Oh my goodness. Donated $200 to United Way. Thanks, Nicole, for finding a good place for us to help with the effort. Marc, have you ever tried to use what's a manometer?
Manometer?
Manometer.
Yes, this is a man. This is not a man. I forget what a...
What is a manometer? Or manometer?
I think it's a manometer.
Manometer?
I forget. What is a manometer? I used to know what that was.
Manometer.
Here, let me look it up. Manometer.
Thank you, Terry. Amazing.
Pressure? Oh, okay. So it's an instrument for measuring the pressure acting on a column of fluid. This is how long I've been out of the world of science that I could not remember that. Clearly the answer is no, Terry. If I'm Googling what that is, pretty good chance that I have no idea. Yeah, I don't use a manometer.
Manometer.
Manometer. Anything else as we wrap this shindig up?
Yeah, unfortunately, Amazon Prime is only available in the US, the UK,
Boo.
Japan, and Germany.
Weird.
They just added it to Canada, so eventually the videos will show up in Canada. But it's a interesting thing.
It's all licensing deals and
content,
region restrictions and stuff.
But eventually, because I think Canada, it just happened, so I think it's going to be a slow rollout. But eventually, I think Canada will also have access to it. But unfortunately, that's how
Canada just got internet, from what I heard. It's just a whole new thing that they discovered.
I know, right?
What's with this internet, eh?
If you are in the area that was affected by Harvey,
the road's closed. Sorry.
I'm trying to be serious here.
I'm trying to be Canadian.
We hope we made you laugh today, and we hope you are staying safe.